GABFX, profitable knockout. RBS atau SPR.
If I could do it, then work on you. Get up and make it work.
Player 0.1
If I could do it, then work on you. Get up and make it work. Ain't no way that I'm sitting around. It's now or never. I'm picking it first. You can't tell me that I won't make it. Knew that I had this skill since birth. Grinding.
Inspiration.
Dude, trading view 不跟那边的 China way. China bans everything. It hates everything.
Because they want to use their own brokers.
China has their own brokers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
of course, a lot.
Alright, so let us start with what we call the three confirmations, right? ICT is very complicated. I'm going to teach you the most simple way to become profitable with just three confirmations. First, you must understand the time frames, how to use multi-time frame. Second, you must understand the types of SNR. Once you understand these two, the third thing you must understand is the three confirmations. And what is the first confirmation? Very simple. Right, the first confirmation you need is a rejection. So what is a rejection? Okay, a rejection is basically, let's say you have a zone right over here, gold touches your zone, instantly it rejects. It rejects from the zone and forms a wick. I can give you an example right now. Right over here, if you can see here, we have a bearish candle, bullish candle, support form. What did gold do? Gold touched that zone, instantly it rejected from the zone. That is the first confirmation, a rejection. So once we have a rejection, what do we need? We want the second confirmation. Rejection is very simple to find. The second confirmation, it is more complicated. Now, what is the second confirmation? The second confirmation is a new SNR. So what is a new SNR? It's basically a new support or resistance form. For example, we can go to the same example again. Right over here, we have a support. Gold rejected from it. What do we want now? We want new SNR. But you don't have to look at the same time frame. You can go to one time frame lower on the H4 time frame. So on the H4 time frame, the rejection was right over here, right? Gold rejected from the zone, and then where was the new SNR form? The new SNR form was right over here. As you can see, bearish candle, bullish candle, support form. That is what we call a new SNR form, a new support form.
Wait, hold on. Let me check real quick. So, wait.
Yeah.
So that was the original.
Yeah. So daily reject daily here.
Okay.
Second, we want a new SNR form.
Oh, so you look at the rejection. Okay. You don't. Yeah. Okay. I'm confused. You look at the rejection.
Yeah. So once a rejection,
here.
So the rejection was here. Okay.
Yeah.
The first rejection was here. It formed new SNR form. But preferably, I should wait for the lower zone. Let's say you wanna wait for this zone, you can enter from this zone also. New SNR form here. That is the second confirmation also. What they go to? Gold touched the zone and it instantly went up. But this was a trade I took. I didn't take this trade. So new SNR form right over here. Gold touched it. What did gold do? Look at this. Gold touched it here. The wick. The wick here.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Gold touched the wick here at the new SNR form. Instantly it flew to the moon.
Yeah.
So why did it fly to the moon? Because of a second confirmation. First, you must mark out all the higher time frame zones.
Yeah.
Second, you must look for the first rejection,
Yeah.
which is the first confirmation. Second is a new SNR form, for example, right over.
So pretty much here, the first rejection is here, right? Here, kind of like few, but this is like a very good rejection.
Correct.
It really like went through it, especially because we're on a lower time frame. It really went through and like it rejected upwards. Yeah,
Alright.
fine. Okay.
So that is a second confirmation. For the second confirmation, it is if you have only the second confirmation, it would be medium risk. The setup with medium risk, not low risk, because we have a total of 3 confirmations. Once you have the third confirmation, that is the best for you, right? So, second confirmation, this is what we call a medium risk setup. It is a higher time frame zone plus a H4 confirmation, second confirmation only. This is a medium risk setup. Gold touched it, instantly it flew. Now, what do we want? What is the third confirmation? Very simple. The third confirmation is a breakout. What we want now is a breakout of a resistance. For example, if you bought at the new SNR form, what do you want is a breakout. Let me show you. For example, right here. Okay, our zones for buys is right over here, right? What you want now is a confirmation of a breakout. We have a zone for buys, we have a new SNR form. What you want now, you can go to one time frame lower as well. For example, we can wait for a breakout. What do you want to break out of? We can either enter at the new SNR form, or we can wait for a breakout of the resistance, which is right over here. As you can see, this is the resistance. Gold broke out this resistance here. When gold broke out, it pulled back to the resistance, becomes support, and continued flying all the way up. How many pips? 500 pips. Why? Because there was a breakout here. So 3 confirmations, which is first right over here.
Yep.
Daily rejection right over here. Then we go to the H4 time frame. On the H4 time frame, we have a new SNR form right over here.
Yep.
Right. Once a new SNR form, we know that possibly gold could start flying. So the moment we can either enter at here or can wait for a breakout on one time frame lower again.
We enter here, you mean the next bullish candle.
We can either enter here when it touches the new SNR form. We can wait for confirmations here as well on the lower time frame. You can either enter here or can wait for a breakout on another time frame, which is third confirmation, the strongest confirmation we need here.
This is the H4.
This is the H4.
The H4.
Correct.
And then
and this is the H1 breakout. So 3 confirmations. What they go to? First H4 zone, it worked out. Okay, what they go to? Touch the H4 zone. It broke out of the H1 resistance. The moment it breaks out, we have a confirmation that gold is going to start flying from there. And what they go to? It flew, pull back to the same zone, and started flying to the moon. 500 pips. 3 confirmations. Rejection, new SNR form, breakout. The moment you have all 3 confirmations, you pair with higher time frame, and you understand storyline, confirm. Each day you can get 1,000 pips. Yeah. Unless you're unlucky. Hopefully you're not unlucky. But yeah, you understand the basics of this.
Yes, definitely.
Any questions?
Rejection, new SNR, breakout. And then most of the time it's like you want them to be like back to back to back time frames, right? Let's say like if you do weekly, start with weekly, and then daily, and then and then daily.
H4.
Usually it's like back to back to back to back. So as
Correct.
here we did daily 4 hour, 1 hour. So
Correct.
like, okay.
So it's very simple. But most of the time, for confirmations, you want to wait for higher time frame confirmations.
Yeah.
The higher the time frame, not just the stronger the zone, but stronger the confirmation as well.
Yeah.
For example, I can show you the one I explained recently. The one I explained recently is the weekly zone, right? The one I took a trade from, this weekly zone, right over here. So just now I've explained it in the cafe just now. This is the weekly zone. This is the buy zone, the higher time frame buy zone. In this zone, we need to wait for the 3 confirmations. Yeah. But obviously, you must pair it with daily zone first. Okay, I'm going to rephrase again. Daily daily, what's this?
OHLC.
OHLC, correct. What is this?
Resistance,
support, resistance, breakdown, support.
Yeah.
That is our zone for buys on the weekly, on the daily. So we have multi-time frame zones already. Let's go to the H4 again, one time frame lower. On the H4 time frame, we also have the same thing. We have a
support,
bearish candle, bullish candle, support. On the same line, we have daily H4.
So breakout, it doesn't have to be like a RBS or SBR. It can literally just be another new SNR, right? Because here with H4, that was just a support. It didn't become like support break, become resistance.
It did. Yeah, right over here. Resistance.
Okay.
Support. That is a breakout.
Yeah. Oh, I thought you were looking at the support. Are you?
We can look at the support.
So you're looking at both.
But we have to mark out all of the zones because the zones are still there.
Yeah.
We have to find out which one are strongest. And once you find out which one are strongest, you can find the confirmations inside the strongest zone.
Okay. So here we have a breakout, resistance, breaking support, and then we have a traditional support.
Yeah.
And so like the RBS is already pretty strong, but then the traditional is even stronger. And it's like we already have the weekly, daily and the weekly.
Yep.
Horizontal as well. I don't know. Daily and the daily.
Bullish candle, bearish candle, resistance form, resistance break becomes support. This is a breakout, right? Now, this is now our zone for buys. This is now our zone for buys. What do we need in this zone?
We have the 3 confirmations.
Yeah, we need the 3 confirmations in the zone. We cannot just enter from gold touching our zone.
Yeah.
The moment it enters our zone, this is going to be our mindset. Our plan for entry.
Yeah.
Right? What is our plan for entry? Our plan for entry is going to be mark out the higher time frame zones, pair it with lower time frame zones, which is what we did right now. Then the next step is to wait for the 3 confirmations. For example, right here we have a H4 reject H4. Right? We have a rejection right over here. And on the same time frame, we have a new SNR form. Right over here, we have a new SNR form. That is already a confirmation that gold is going to start flying from here. Once we have that, we want to wait for a breakout on the H1 time frame. Let's go. Okay, on the H1 time frame, what happened? If you can see right over here, you can either enter from the new SNR form here, or you can enter at the. You can see here, there's a zone for buys here. There's a zone for buys right over here. Right? We have a bearish candle, bullish candle, support form, support break, become resistance, resistance break, and support again. So that is a HNS. You can see here, right?
Yeah. That's. It just retrace back to the shoulder and then boom.
It
didn't form. Boom. So it's not a QM. So this is a head and shoulders.
Correct.
It's inverse head and shoulders. Yeah.
We can either enter from here, which is quite risky. It's a medium risk setup, or you can wait for a breakout. For example, a breakout of this. You can wait for a breakout of this. You can wait for a breakout of this, or this. Right. For example, now we have breakout. If you want to wait for a low risk setup, you don't want to enter a medium risk setup from the 2 confirmations. You can wait for the 3rd confirmation, which is where the third confirmation is right over here. This is the resistance, the roadblock. Gold broke out of the H1 roadblock, move back to the roadblock, continue flying all the way to the moon. 1000 pips. 1000 pips from here to here. 1000 pips because of a simple confirmation. 3 confirmation. Because, okay, you have to understand. The mindset is like this. Rejection is the first confirmation. It is the start of the confirmation. It does not use so at all. But if you pair with new SNR form, that becomes a zone for buyers. Once you have a new SNR form, you have a confirmation you can enter from the zone of buyers, or you can wait for a breakout. The breakout means the buyers has won the war against the sellers. Once the sellers lose, buyers win. So why not we just buy? Right? Simple as that. And that is what happened here.
Breakout goes both ways, right?
Yeah.
Either buyers or sellers. It just means like it like broke through the pattern.
Either way.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's what happened here. Gold broke out of this. Become resistance. Resistance become support. Gold touch back. Instantly fly 1000 pips. And it pull back. Same zone again. Fly again. Fly again. Because this is also a start of a storyline, but that is something I cannot teach you yet. You can see 1 zone, 2 zone, 3 zone. Look at how strong this zone is. Because it's a breakout zone.
Yeah, with 3 confirmations.
It's the 3 confirmations. 1000 pips right here. Second touch, what? 500 pips. Third touch, 1000 pips again. Fourth touch, 1000 pips again. And then after the 5th touch, 300 pips. And then went down, broke out, touched the second breakout zone. We marked this already. Touched it.
Oh my.
Flew again.
Crazy, man.
Flew again. I can, bro. This is how you analyze the market. It's legit that simple. Let me show you.
And so the most important thing is all of these candles have to close. So obviously, let's say these things like we know the whole chart, right? We like just like backtest it. Yeah, everything has to close, and then
Has to
it's like
close.
then it can be a proper confirmation.
Correct. For a breakout at least.
Yeah.
Rejection, you only wait for candle to close. New SNR
You,
form,
wait, rejection you don't.
you need to
You
wait.
do. Yeah. Breakout you also need. 3 of them you need, right? All 3 you need.
All 3 you wait for candle
Yeah.
close.
Okay.
Once a candle closure, then you confirm that it's a breakout, a rejection, or new SNR form.
Yeah.
So this is the 3 confirmations. Once you understand the 3 confirmations, trading is easy. Obviously, the way I'm teaching it now, it looks very easy. When you apply it, you're not gonna really understand it. So how do we solve that? We start back testing. Whatever I taught you today, I want you to go back. About your living with me. I want you to back test. Okay. I want you to back test in Shanghai, in Tokyo, in whatever. That is how you truly understand my strategy. Because you see the results. How many times you touch, how many times you worked out. That is the power of my mastermind blueprint.
Yeah.
Simple as that. So, any questions about 3 confirmations?
Nope. Perfect.
Are you sure?
Yes,
It's a very complicated.
perfect.
It looks very simple, but it's a very complicated topic.
Yeah. No, it's good.
Alright.
Yes, understood.
Then I'll add
Understood.
some things about the 3 confirmations. Okay?
Okay.
The 3 confirmations not just can be used on higher time frame, it can be used on lower time frame.
Okay.
We're gonna go back to the same place here. Okay, right here. Yes, we do have a HNS here, right? Correct? You understand? Confirm.
Yeah.
Sure.
Confirm.
Okay, sure. Okay, we have a HNS here. Now we have the 3 confirmations here. We have the second confirmation here.
Yeah.
What can we do in the second confirmation to make it more low risk?
Wait, wasn't this like technically a 3rd confirmation?
No, there was no breakout. This was just a
Oh, okay,
form,
sorry.
right?
Yeah.
So this is the second confirmation. It was
Yeah.
a H4 new
New
SNR form,
SNR form. Yeah.
H1 HNS.
Yes.
Right. So
Oh, no, that's what I mean. As in like H1 like head and shoulders. So does that count, technically count as like breakout as well, or no?
no, it doesn't count as a
Okay,
breakout. Okay, we want a breakout of a traditional SNR,
Okay.
not a RBS whatever. Because this is what counts as a breakout. This is also what counts as a breakout. If it breaks out this is
Oh
the
yeah,
confirm.
okay. Yeah.
So now we understand we have HNS here. What can we do to make it more low risk? We can use the 3 confirmations on lower time frame. For example, now we have a rejection here, right? Right over here, we have a rejection of the HNS.
Yeah.
Let's go to 1 time frame lower. Okay, maybe M15. Alright, so on the M15, what happened? M15. We have the rejection here. There was a new SNR. The new SNR is only right over here. We can wait for a rejection, a breakout as well. So if you want to enter a low risk setup, you can wait for a breakout on lower time frame. You just enter. The moment gold breaks out, pull back, just enter from the breakout, fly again, fly again, fly again, fly. Maybe, okay, if you enter, the thing about entering on lower time frame with confirmation is that you won't go far. You won't go as far as higher time frame confirmations, but it's still a trade. For example, this trade you took here, right? There's a breakout of the resistance here, right? Go pull back to the resistance, become support, and completely started flying.
Yeah. 900. No,
Yeah.
7,
Flew to the
8.
moon.
Oh my god, that one flew to the moon.
Because of this zone, it flew to the moon.
Mm.
But not just because of 3 confirmations, you have to understand. It is because of a higher time frame zone
Yeah.
as well. This was a weekly, daily H4 buy zone.
Mhm.
It is definitely a strong zone.
Yeah.
How you want to make it low risk is you pair it with the 3 confirmations. Either on higher time frame or lower time frame, either way it's gonna work. But
I have a question.
Mm.
Here's a H1.
Mm.
This is a H1. This was the
this
left.
is M15.
Oh, this is M15. What was the H1? Yeah, let me see. Okay, so I was trying. Basically, I was trying to say. So here is the left shoulder. Right. So here is the left shoulder. Obviously, you use this as a M15 breakout. Okay.
Mm.
Here you don't really want to use these two because here. Okay. So here resistance. Here resistance. Broke out twice, and then because like it didn't really follow the pattern because it broke out again, as in like resistance, and then break. So it becomes RBS, but then it broke the RBS structure again. So like basically these are kind of invalid already, right?
Correct.
Because here obviously here we're starting the H1 SNR,
Correct.
and then here it's like
The
here was
M15
the M15 new SNR form. So that's the second confirmation.
Correct.
You kind of like just kind of want to see from here starting, right? Because here is like we really know
Here
most
it's
of this
just,
invalid.
it's before the higher time frame. It is before the higher time frame touched the zone.
Before
Yeah.
here was quite recent. Yeah, this was like basically that candle.
Correct.
So because that candle hasn't closed, this is like basically kind of useless information.
Yeah.
Because the H1 which
it
is
is still useful. It is still okay. For example, why is it useful? It is still a roadblock. For example, right over here, this is left shoulder.
Yeah.
Right. It's a left shoulder. It's a roadblock. It's a left shoulder for our. I haven't taught you about roadblocks.
oh, yeah.
But yeah, we understand breakout first, okay? So basically, a roadblock is, let's say you're buying, is the place where you sell.
It's a what?
It's a place where you sell.
Okay. Oh, take
If you're
profit.
buying, if it goes to the place where you sell, obviously you either take profit or you wait for a breakout, right? So in this scenario, this is the roadblock. Resistance, break becomes support, support break becomes resistance. That becomes a
Wait, resistance breaks becomes support, and support breaks become resistance.
yeah,
That's a
that
roadblock.
becomes- Yes, correct. It becomes a QM. How does a QM form? Let me show you. QM is like this, right? 3.73. What happened here? Resistance, break, becomes support, support, break, becomes resistance. But obviously this was on a lower time frame. So that is why you must understand time frames.
So this thing doesn't have to always trace back. So we have left shoulder, apex.
Now, why did it not trace back? Can you answer me?
Didn't
Why
trace
did it
back
not react
because-
from this QM?
Because of the R. Resistance break becomes support, and then support break becomes resistance. There's a roadblock there for a while
So why did it not react from the roadblock?
because there was a breakout.
No.
Oh,
Why?
Okay. Wait, why didn't
That is after. Why did it not react?
why did it not react to the resistance?
There's a resistance on the roadblock. There's a entire
Yeah.
QM set up on M15. Keyword M15.
Okay, so higher time frame, there was a support somewhere or
Alright.
RBS. Because
Okay.
resistance break support. So there's like more troops on the buy side on the
Correct. Yes. Why did it fly? Because the higher time frame is always stronger than lower time frame.
Yeah.
This was only a lower time frame resistance. A lower time frame roadblock. So which one is going to win? Higher time frame or lower time frame?
higher time frame.
Correct. What they go do? A higher time frame zone, higher time frame confirmation, second confirmation. Gold broke out of M15 roadblock. The moment it breaks out, that is a confirmation that the roadblocks don't work anymore. The sellers are weak. So the buyers take over the fortress and boom, fly all the way to the moon. Because the buyers won the war when there's a breakout.
Yep.
Is it complicated?
Wow. Good.
This is very beneficial information.
Yeah, man. Ben learning beneficial things.
Bad
How-
learning
how-
beneficial thing.
Wow.
3 confirmations, understand the storyline. Sorry,
No, understand the 3 confirmations and then also using lower time frame.
and multi-time frame.
Yeah.
Higher time frame zones. You already know how to trade. With just the base. These are the basics I've taught to everyone. Right? 3 confirmations, higher time frame zones, lower time frame zones. Maybe I explain more specific here. And the use of types of SNR. People became profitable. They profit 100k USD. Some of them they bought a house because of this brand new information. This simple information, the basics. And in this personal coaching, I'll be teaching you the advanced storyline.
Wow.
Obstacles. With just the basics, people have become profitable. Imagine you. after you learn my storyline.
Yes, sir, man.
Alright. So any questions about the 3 SNR?
No, good.
No question. Sure not?
Sure,
You good.
definitely.
My
Rejection, new SNR, and then breakout. Yes, and all like back to back to back time frames. And use lower time frames, even like to even decrease the risk even less. Yes.
Chun?
Mm.
So basically you understand the basics now.
Yes.
Alright, go.
Chapter 0.1 done.
Chapter 0.1
0.1
done.
done.
A lot more
A lot
to learn.
more to learn, man.
Alright.
Oh my gosh. So
A lot
exciting. You trade? You trade? Ooh. Learn from the best. Shifu games.